and welcome to this special session called Travel Manthan. So, just giving a brief background, this event was planned in April by us, which was in a physical mode, but the situation has prompted us to go for this virtual session. And I would say it's an opportunity for us to get, esteemed speakers, which we could not get otherwise on a physical forum. So, glad to have so many, global leaders from the travel trade for this session today. And as the name suggests, it's called Manthan. So the idea is to churn out some good ideas, good practices, which others can follow going forward. So let me introduce and welcome today's panelists, esteemed speakers, starting with Mr. Wachira Chai Sirisumpan, Director, Tourism Authority of Thailand, New Delhi office. Welcome to the show, sir. Ms. Jyoti Mayal, President, Travel Agents Association of India. Welcome, Jyoti ji.
Thank you.
Mr. Ankush Nijavan, co-founder TBO Group, MD Nijavan Group. Hi Ankush.
How are you?
Ms. Birgit Albeker, Director International Sales, Rache Hospitality. Welcome Birgit. Mr. Rajiv Khale, President and Country Head, Mice Leisure Holiday and Visa, Thomas Cook India. Welcome Mr. Khale. Mr. Ajay Seth, CEO Delmos World. Uh, Maybe we have to wait. And Mr. Rudin Das, Taiwan Tourism. Welcome Rudin to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So, hello and welcome all. As they say, these are tough and testing times. So, these are the common words which we have been hearing, and I think it's close to 6 months now that these words are prevailing in the market. And travel is first to get affected, last to get recovered. These are another statements which are coming out through various forums. So everyone is habitual to it now. But on the contrary, you can see other businesses have resumed slowly. Then why not travel? So raising the first question to all guest panelists today. So starting with Mr. Wachira Chai, Director, Tourism Authority of Thailand. So, sir, we would like to take your views on steps to rebuild confidence in travel. So over to you for your quality remarks.
Okay, on this, I think doing this confidence and trust is very important. My views on this, I think everyone here is doing similar the same as well, and I will give some update on the Thailand part. So what we're doing is two elements. One is about the actions. Second one, we need to do communication, and these two things we have to go together. So for the action part for Thailand in building up confidence, so we have been doing well in the countries. So the situation is now under control. No domestic transmission of the disease, and we quite being quite success on that. Second things, okay, what we have done to prepare for the tourists to come back, both domestic and international, hope sometime very soon. We have launched what we call Amazing Talent Safe and Health Certification. So this is a standard covering everything concerning about tourists when they're traveling in in Thailand, and we are working on this with all concerned, Ministry of Public Health and associations. And now in Thailand, domestic have been start moving since last month. Okay, this is what we're doing. So what we have been doing, and I think we have done a good work. So we need to communicate to all our friends here in India. So our target audience, of course, is the travel trade and all the consumers. So we have been updating information and keeping people engagement. Last but not least, but what we need to do is what we go to communicate. It have to be at the right time, at the right moment. Have to be balancing, because for us we need to be very careful not to do a lot of promotion, because we will get feedback. You Thailand is still not open while you're doing a lot. But what we're doing now to keep Thailand on mind and just to prove that we're still here with all our partners. So that would be what we're doing. Yes. That is my answer.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir, for briefing us on what's going on in Thailand and what are the activities. So moving on to Ms. Jyoti Mayal. So, ma'am, what is your take on rebuilding the confidence? I know you have been attending so many sessions and interacting with the audience of different kinds. So, taking the crux out of those webinars. I think you're on mute. You need to unmute.
Yeah, sorry. It went on mute itself. This is what happens. This is where actually COVID-19 has brought us to all these challenges which we never had earlier. So, yes, thank you once again. Thank you, Sachin, and thank you, Mice Affairs Media Group, for organizing this wonderful expo. I think it's a great initiative, and I'd like to congratulate you on the same pretext, because I think in these challenging times, the entire industry is looking forward to interaction. As it is, we've lost contact, and we are all absolutely without human contact with each other. So I think this is the technology is getting us together, and I think that's the upside of the whole thing which has really happened. Yes, coming back to the how can we promote confidence, that's your question, and I would like to say that it's a very difficult situation. I think the times are challenging. It is very, people are very emotionally stuck up. People are very frustrated sitting down. So to motivate them is the first thing I would feel is needed. And seeing the India market, India tourism industry, where we haven't really opened up to the whole, we have different quarantines with different SOPs in place. And I feel that it's very important first to be confident yourself. I think that's where we need to start. We need to start at home to see that how confident am I to step out of the house. So if I'm confident enough, can I inculcate confidence into others? And it's very easy to tell you or tell someone, say, hey, please travel, everything is open. But it's very difficult to do it. And if I can't do it, how can anyone else do it? So I think to do that, we need to motivate. How we do it is it's going to be a long session. But yes, there are a lot of ways we need to do that. So one thing which I would say that is very important to get out into the open is something that India has now started doing, but I think it was required much initially, is mass testing. I think mass testing was very, very important, and yes, we have got into it. The RT-PCR or the antibody testing is going to be playing a very big role till the time there is no vaccine. And that is going to be really a support system, a key player to make us come out and open so that we know.
I think we lost our voice because of signal issue. So meanwhile, I move to Ankush. Ankush, what is your take on rebuilding confidence? Over to you.
I think, Sachin, thanks a lot, and good afternoon to all the panelists and the audience. I think positivity is already setting in. I mean, if you see the numbers growing now, what we were at 60,000 domestic passengers, we are clocking a little more than 110,000 on a daily basis. And I think expected to be about 150,000 by early September, mid-September. That itself demonstrates the confidence is coming back. The virus is something that people are getting more resilient to, and people are ready to accept this as a condition of travel. I think talking positivity amongst us as a stakeholders is very, very important. Who say they travel isn't the safest, I think is the best way to communicate. I mean, the precaution which an airline is taking today is probably the easiest and the less riskiest way to travel overseas. The right inventory needs to be available now because liquidity is a challenge. The economy is not doing as well. So I think the stakeholders have to look at that and make sure that the pricing are dropped. Domestic is picked up. I mean, you ask somebody in Grand Manesar to ask a room night for the next 5 weekends, there's no room. You go to Lonavala, there is no room. Who's saying somebody's not traveling? Obviously, there are people today who have the confidence, and it's all coming back, especially in the last 45 days. And I see this one of the first steps to the bigger picture going forward. Dekho Apna Desh, I think is a great campaign, what Incredible India is doing. And friends like our friends from Thailand Tourism, Koen Simpron himself is doing a lot of activities in spite of Thailand not being open yet, but creating that positivity and the momentum, which I had a chat with him a couple of weeks back himself. Look at Dubai. Amount of airlift which is happening. I think the IPL itself has changed the mood going towards Dubai, and I'm sure very shortly the other destinations will open. Maldives is one of them. I was just talking to Thomas Cook's Rajiv's team. We are now doing a charter end of this month, and I can tell you one thing. I think before I will announce it, it will be sold, right? And COVID is still there. So look at the opportunity. I think pilgrimages, a lot of religious places are now open again. That will also build some confidence for people traveling in large numbers. And I think tourism boards have stepped in, some of them. Some of them are still taking a little laid-back attitude, but I think the short-haul destinations especially are doing a lot of good work educating the customer on what safeties and they have been doing. So I think Positivity is there. It's just that there are small steps to a larger picture, and I'm seeing numbers going up every day. Trust me. I mean, I'm surprised to see the numbers. I didn't expect this such a quick turnaround, especially in the last 10 days, and I don't see this stopping now till Diwali, as well as going as we go into New Year.
Sure,
Thanks.
sure. Thanks, Ankush. Even I can vouch for that. I was looking out for resort prices on an online website in Jaipur 2 weeks back. So it was showing something around 7 to 8,000 rupees, and this week it's like $15,000 a night. So that means they've got business, yeah, through that. So moving on to Birgit, Miss Birgit. Now, what is your take, ma'am? Over to you. I think you need to unmute.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, and great opportunity to be here. Maybe just a quick 2-3 words about where I'm coming from, and the sense I will be with Deutsche Hospitality. Our core market is Germany, which is also where our headquarters is. You will hear me talk a little bit from the German perspective. We do have hotels across the globe, but for the majority is in Germany. But I'm based actually in the USA, sitting here right now in the New York area. So I also come with that viewpoint of the US, which is an important outbound feeder market for us. We do have sales colleagues in India, which are actually at your expo at the moment. So that's why you see me on the screen and not them. So the overall, as a confidence, if we look at the travel industry, not just hotels specifically, some of the things were already shared by the colleagues here. But I think, if we look at domestic within the region travel or within a country, and then also the outbound or cross ocean travel, which for us is very important. There's two things. The first, domestic, as we all know, is the first to start. Confidence, I think, really comes strongly from the communication from the travel providers, the hotel companies, the air companies, and so on, to talk about what are we doing, what is the safety that we're implementing, what are the measures. Jayoti had put in a very important point. I think our own behavior or our company's restrictions, are we allowed to work back from an office in a big city, or are we all still home based? If we're not all allowed to be back in an office in a big city, how can we expect, travelers to go out and travel? So I think it was a very good point. So I think communication, transparency from the travel providers to the market is very important. And when we talk about outbound cross-ocean travel, and also particularly business travel, really, I think companies, their corporations must allow them freedom and flexibility of choice at this point until we have a vaccine and there's more safety. So just because planes might fly again, a traveler may not be comfortable. So I think on a corporate traveler basis, that is important from travel management to extend to them. At Deutsche Hospitality, we realized relatively early in the COVID-19 phase, when it started, that safety and hygiene measures will be a key focus, and we started working on what to add and what to do even before guidelines came out. So from our end, we provide great transparency, a long protocol of measures that have been implemented, hotels that have been revamped, of course, physically in the space, but also really with the procedures. So also our management is very vocal and public out in media appearances to really communicate where we're at, with pretty much all of our hotels being open and bookable again, with the exception of about 3 or 4. We're talking about 112 hotels in total. So I think communication, transparency, and the big picture, of course, is airlines flying again, countries being open, and the vaccines. But I think the importance really also is that we got to get to the point where the whole globe is on a similar level. Right now we're all in very different areas. And speaking just for the US itself, we talk about individual states that are in very different phases of confidence and recovery. So I think we're all on the right way already, and it'll take still a little bit, but transparency and communication, I think, right now is the key. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks. Yes, transparency is, of course, is going to play a big role. So after hearing from you, I'll move on to Taiwan. Rudin, over to you. What's the news from Taiwan? How are you going to rebuild the confidence? Please unmute yourself.
A very good evening to all the panelists, and Sachin, thank you for giving Taiwan this platform to speak to all of you and the audience. Well, actually, cities and countries around the world will have to eventually open safely. Taiwan is one such country which has never faced a lockdown throughout this entire period. They immediately, in the beginning, sensed the issue and they closed down all the borders. All the safety measures and precautions were taken. Uh, COVID 19 has impacted all the countries and has impacted Taiwan as well. But we faced less than 500 cases and 7 fatalities. The reason behind this such low numbers is because of the experience, the bad experience which Taiwan had faced 17 years ago with SARS, where there were more than 600 cases and 181 fatalities. Now, these numbers are very important for us to understand that why such low cases, because Taiwan learned from all these things and came out with standard operating procedures. So when it comes to the airports, they had thermal scanners, they had medical practitioners placed at various points, even at the attractions, at the hotels, followed a standard SOP. So they managed to handle the situation. Today, there's no lockdown in Taiwan. When I say no lockdown, people are going around and doing their normal activities. What they are doing, they are sanitizing themselves on a regular basis, wearing the mask. And it's also the people and the government. So both are working hand in hand. And with the government stimulus, they've been able to recover and continue with their daily operations. Yes, tourism has affected Taiwan and rest of the world as well. But we really hope that tourism comes back and we're able to welcome all the guests to Taiwan.
Sure. Thanks, Rudin, for your valuable information. I'll move on to the next one, which is the resilience status of travel industry. So I'll see if Ms. Jyoti Behal is available. Or we can move this question to Kun Vachirachai for now. What is your take on the resilience status
Hi.
of the travel industry?
I don't know if
Okay, sorry.
you can hear me or not.
It's coming quite on and off. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So answer this one first, right? Okay. As I think everyone agree with me that in the past tourism is the industry which is have go through many crises already, but this one is one of the most tough ones. But I'm sure from now we start to see some light at the tunnel. Whether we're still not sure whether when the COVID-19 will gone or when we will have the vaccine. But I see a lot of movement here in Thailand, also many countries, and in India as well, that we see a lot of domestic are happening now. But in the new normal way, which we all in every industry in tourism business have to be adapting. So this is what we are moving forward to, learning to adapt. Maybe in the future we need to be more hybrid. Working in traveling at the same time and still have to rely on more on the technology part. So I believe the future of the travel and tourism, the core will be the same in terms of traveling, learning experience, but there will be a new more in terms of technologies coming up, and we need to adapt to that as well.
Sure. Thank you for your information. Now, moving on to Ms. Jyoti Mayal, can you hear us and share
Yeah,
your views?
I can. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I can hear you. So can you hear
And
me?
yes, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. Well, I really don't know. Well, I think the resilient part, I'll say like you said, from a point of total lockdown to complete suspension, then to recovery would be a very slow process. So travel is going to be very important as it means experience, it means freedom, it means sharing. So I think all those things are related to travel, and that's what makes this industry very resilient about the whole thing. And we have to be resilient, and we've seen the struggling part, and I think that's the way we are surviving. It's a huge country. I think the travel agents are trying to motivate each other. We as an association at TAI are trying to motivate each other with doing all these webinars, hand holding them, doing educating them, skilling them, upskilling them. And I think the five things which I feel are very important to be resilient is like, you need to be emotionally well-being is the main key of being resilient. Secondly, of course, it's your inner drive that motivates you, and, you need to achieve things. Third is, of course, that you need to focus on the future. You can't keep living in the past. So that is what you keep doing. And the fourth is relationships, and that's what keeps you going. And I think that's what's keeping us going in this industry too, that our relationships are so strong that we can connect with everyone. And that's how, you and me, and today you are doing this travel Manthan, because that's what relationships are all about. And of course, your physical health, where I'm sure people sitting at home maybe more relaxed in some ways, and the physical strength is getting stronger. But yes, I think these things are very important. Everyone is struggling. These times are such. No one predicted the future, and no one has ever predicted the future. Actually, just yesterday I heard a very nice story about, I don't know, about the Choluteca Bridge in Honduras. I don't know if you've heard it. I just heard it yesterday, and after hearing that story, I think it became more resilient. How everything is so, it's the dynamic changes are always there for the markets and for the business. This bridge is on a suspension bridge. It's located in Choluteca, which is in Honduras. And in 1930, build a bridge over this river so that, it wouldn't create destruction whenever the hurricanes came. And, the bridge was built, but soon after, in 1998, there was another huge hurricane which came there. And you know what it did? It damaged the entire country again. Yes, this bridge stood, and it stood very, very strong. But what happened? Can you imagine what happened? The bridge was standing, but the river had changed its route, and it started flowing from somewhere else. So the bridge was no use for all the technology they could apply, for all the money they apply.
Sure. I think she's gonna join back in a moment. So meanwhile, I have Mr. Ajay Seth joining us. Welcome, Mr. Seth. I can see you have got good signals now. So over to you. So you can take both the questions together. So maybe steps to rebuild confidence and resilience cases. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Sachin. I think so. By the time we recover and get back from the C19 era, we'll be slaves to the technology. Anyway, when you say that rebuilding the confidence, I personally feel that it will require a lot of thought, a long continuous process. I recollect when we had first interacted sometimes in April or very early of May, and it was the initial stages of the pandemic, and India was nowhere on the pandemic map during those days. Whatever be the reason, we are going by the number. And today when we are speaking, say 6 months from that time, the total global cases are roughly about 22 million, and India is at 3.2 million. This is the kind of rebuilding which will need to be taken care of to make the people travel. There will be, bits of jolts in between, bits of push spikes in between, which will make people travel. And that will be the initial strength to the travel industry, where the hopes are kept alive. And as travel partners, travel professionals, we'll have to keep latching on to these spikes and moving onward step by step. This confidence also happens, with different things which keep happening globally. At times it gets two step back. Just a recent example where we all were very happy that Bali was opening up in September. And suddenly yesterday we hear that it may get closed till the year end or even till January. We will not discuss the pros and cons of that, but it just takes away a bit of confidence because for last 1 month, I'm sure, like us, many others in the travel industry would also have been hoping that, okay, Bali could be the first destination for people to move out internationally. But on the other side, things like IPL moving to Dubai, an event which will happen for over 2 months, cricket, which is the sport followed around the world in quite a predominant way, if not like other sports like soccer and others. Dubai, I'm sure that they have a purpose to take this event into their country or invite this event into their country. There would be a huge marketing blitz for this. Hopefully, if people are allowed to enter the stadium to see the games, there could be tourist inflow. And since this is going to be a 2 months period, suddenly we could see a tourism aspect also opening up because the country will be considered safe. But this is something which instills confidence to the traveler once they make a plan to move out of their homes, whether within the area of their stay, next state, next country. But these are the confidence building stages that I see. And this is what, if India is promoting Dekho Apna Desh, there will need to be campaigns. There will need to be working on similar lines because there would be many festivities which would be coming up post the monsoon. And people now will have a reason or two to move out because that would have now taken them at about 8 months at home. Marketing of these destinations, making it clean, safe, hygienic, and making the people aware of all this is what is going to build up the confidence. Personally, I feel that there will need to be a very clear interstate travel policies so that a person leaving his home doesn't have 20 questions or reaching a particular point to enter the other state. He's told that he cannot do it because the policies have changed. This not only will bring him back home, but it will also affect travel of multiple others with whom we will speak. So on a personal note, if we have to build a confidence, and some of my panelist colleagues also mentioned, spread of safety in travel will be the mantra to make the people move out of their home. And this will require very, very strong media support so that the message reaches the last traveler, irrespective in which city he is staying, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. On the other point of resilience, as you said, I personally feel travel has always bounced back after a crisis. Whether it has been an act of terrorism, natural calamity, epidemic. End of the day, while it may have taken a couple of steps back, people have moved out to travel. Of course, they will move out again with new normals, which will be at the airports, on the flights, hotels, monuments, at transport, restaurants. But all this is not going to stop the people from traveling, except that they will adapt to the changes. And in terms of resilience, I always feel the 2015 earthquake in our neighboring country of Nepal, a very small country. But that earthquake was nearly of about 7 point, or close to 8 or 7.8. Literally the entire nation was destroyed. But true to their character, They brought the country back into its feet in 6 months' time and sent out a campaign which said that country is back to normal, Nepal is open for business. 2015, just prior to the earthquake, the number of tourists coming into their country was 6 lakhs. In 2017, it had moved to roughly about 9.4 lakhs. And 2019, it had done 12 lakhs. Compared to millions which come into other countries, this may not be a big number, but for a country like Nepal, in 3 years' time, this was 100% jump from a country that had totally gone down. So this is the travel resilience that we are speaking of. Now, it is important that as travel professionals, we should be clear in our mind before we try to preach anything to the others. It is very, I'm just not getting that word. It is, okay, to be resilient, I'll just rephrase the whole thing. To be resilient, what we have to do is ensure that we collate our information from the correct sources and not read or circulate whatever we get on social media, which causes panic to the people. We have to ensure that we work out packages with the reliable partners on the similar patterns that we believe in, which is the safety of our customers. Very important is that we build relationships with the clients. And in doing all of this, we should ensure that as travel professionals, we must not aspire for things to get back to normal, but we should aspire to redefine what the new normal will mean. And this will help us to get back once the business comes into a rebound. This is what I personally feel on both these points.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Seth, for sharing your key inputs on this matter. Now, I'll quickly move to the next one, which is very important to understand about the restart. So, considering that, COVID is going to stay for some time, till the time the exact cure is there. And so, as an industry, what steps we can take to push travel with aligned SOPs? Because I'll just give you an example of the traveler inside me. It is also pushing me since last 2 months to maybe take a quick break. But when we switch on any news channel, considering the number of cases we have, so I have to take a pause. Otherwise, people are feeling having that feeling to travel immediately. So I'll start this with Kun Vachira Chai. Uh, as we have heard a lot of news about Thailand. Thailand has controlled the virus well. There can be a lot of factors involved. So, what is the road to restart? What would be the key factors we can take? Vachira Chai, over to you. You need to unmute. You're on mute.
Okay, thank you, Rush. I always have to remind myself on this as well. When we will restart, I hope sometime soon. If some of you have heard the news, okay, the situation in the country is getting better. Domestic tourism already moving around since last month, and we start already to welcome back international travelers gradually. But at this stage, will be those mainly business and with special permission, because there's still a lot of process to go on. People entering Thailand still have to go for the 14-day quarantines. Okay. The latest news which I have received, and maybe some of you already noted, that Phuket would be opened up on 1st of October, but this will be like a Phuket model. Okay. At the moment, it's already on the table of the government, okay, that try to open this, but in terms of detail, which is on the new like 30 days mandatories, this is still on the table, okay. So we need to confirm, officially confirm on this latest. It's still in the process because you know that have to talk with many parts because there will be about allies, local people. We need to do the public hearing as well. So I hope we will get more clear message very soon. Okay. On apart from that, as I already said, we continue to communicate and building, maintain a good relation and engage with our partner here. So that is we hope to do. So when we have to restart, I think it will be very quick to do. So we need to be moving very fast on this. And this is my answer for this part. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Moving on to Ankush. So Ankush, how are we gonna restart? I think you are doing a great job. I could see you a lot on social media, a lot of posts going on. So what is the road to restart? Please guys.
So first of all, it's my humble request to everybody go back to work because end of the day, COVID is here to stay for a few months. And I can tell you one thing: after being locked down for about 4 months, what you are when your brain works is very different. When I even met Kun Sirpan in his office 2 weeks back, it's a different mindset. Your decision making, your energy levels are way higher than what you're doing sitting at home. So we need to unlock ourselves now, and I think everybody should go back to their work. And I'm sure some of us will unfortunately contract with COVID, but that's something I don't should be holding us back for the whole of the year. Just thinking one day that the vaccine will come. Two is I think build value by the tourism boards, as he rightly said in Thailand. Exactly happening what Mr. Seth said, or Dubai is doing is actually changing the whole mood of the industry and the passengers to travel. Flexible quarantine policy, I think, is going to be very, very important because this is something which is probably one of the biggest bottlenecks, which is holding people to travel in and out of India. Access to borders and visas, because a lot of visas are still being stalled. I think the government needs to start opening up now for Indians to apply, etc., etc. And uniform quarantine policies for states in India, because I think that's something the government has to really make sure that it is a uniform policy for anybody entering, let's say, from Delhi into Uttarakhand or somebody from Mumbai entering Goa. I think airlines are doing a great job the way they are taking measures for passengers both on ground as well as in once they are airborne to ensure that nobody contracts with COVID. I think they're doing a fabulous job, be it an international or a domestic airline. And I think a lot of hotels are working on sanitization. So I represent Kapensky in India, right, as their marketing office. I think the white glove policy, which they have started, is something is commendable on seeing what they are doing. From the time you actually enter the door of the hotel to the time you enter your room is absolutely seamless. There's no finger touch at all. You're not allowed to go to banquets to eat. Everything is in your room or at a given time when you can come have your breakfast. I think there's very basic steps which many hotels have started doing, both India and overseas, for people to be comfortable once they're sleeping in a bed outside their home. So these are all positive steps, as I say, and I think the most important is to create positivity, and everybody should go back to work and ensure that you create that energy amongst your team, yourself, and obviously with the industry stakeholders. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks, Satish.
Thanks, Ankush. Lovely to hear your words. Now I can see Mr. Kale has joined back, so would like to hear your voice, sir.
Yeah,
It
Sachin,
would be
sorry
over
so
to you.
much. Yeah, extremely sorry. I think there's some major challenge on the
Yeah. No
internet
worries, sir.
connection, or
This is
I don't know.
no.
So
Yeah,
very
even then.
quickly, I missed most of the conversation, but let me just share a couple of my thoughts. I noted down your first question about what are the steps and how do we get back on the action. So one thing is very clear that we have to tell ourselves and to the entire community that the COVID is going to be there, and we need to live our life with COVID. If you are expecting that the tourism will come back to normal once the COVID gets so over, the vaccination will come, all the medications will be available amply. I don't think that's ever going to happen. We need to accept and move on that we need to move on to the travel industry with COVID. Now, what are the steps that we are taking in that front? Most importantly, we launched our Assured program. and I'm sure the working on various other such programs. What is Assured program is we tied up with the Apollo clinics, who is actually us to how to follow protocol of safety, hygiene, and all of things for the customer to book their holiday.
Okay, so meanwhile, I'll move to Ms. Bigot. Can I have
Important.
your views on the restart?
Yes, thank you. Ankush already addressed a couple of
Hello?
hotel. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Yeah, Ankush was already leading a little bit into a little bit of a hotel story with the example of Kempinski hotels, which is a good example. And I can kind of tag on to this. So speaking for us, Deutsche Hospitality, we also are working on, we have implemented all the safety measures, but with standard of procedures and standard of protocol, so to say, we are also working on, we have one of our brands, we have 5 brands, so one of our brands has the complete touch-free way for guests with our own app, so check in, check out, invoicing, getting into your room, you don't even have to touch the doorknob and so on. So we have that completely covered for one of our brands. We're rolling out now also virtual site inspections, and really that is the direction, and I think that will stay for a while. So we're working very strongly on that. I think overall, as speaking for the hotel industry specifically, not just us, but as a hotel industry, for the corporate travel that is going now into the RFP corporate contracting phase, we need to have these, let's say, GBTA formats, right? The GBTA contracts. So there has to be a standard for all hotel companies. What are we talking about when we talk about hygiene measures? What are the safety measures? So that has to be standardized. I think the process is already pretty much close to completion on that end. And then also for the MICE side, for meeting and conference planners, right now you go to different companies, you have very different results. So I think though hotel companies cannot all be applying the same, because sometimes it's the size of the hotel, it's the size of the company, or maybe the country that the hotel is in, and the standards are different there. So I don't think we should aim at having such a, managed standard, so to say. But there are certain parts, I think, of the areas that touch our industry in regards to our clients and contracting, corporate and meetings particularly, where we have to have come to a standard of the industry. And I know that all the known organizations, maybe the MPIs or PCMAs, and are working on that and are pretty advanced already. So yes, standardizing as much as possible, so we know what is it when we're all talking about safety measures. Right? Is it just the hand sanitizer on the lobby, or is it really the full-blown set of tools? So that would be my suggestion or my input. Thank you.
Sure, thanks, Bigot. So, welcome back, Ms. Jyoti Mayal.
I really don't know what's happening to my internet today, and I think it's a real challenge. First time it's happening like this. I'm sorry about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No issues. So, we were talking about restart of the travel.
Yeah.
So, over to you.
So basically the SOPs, you're talking about the SOPs, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think then,
the travel with SOPs.
I'm sorry, I haven't heard most of you speaking, and I would love to. So please do send me a recording so I can hear the inputs which I could miss out from all of you. But yes, I think the SOPs really need to be aligned, and they need to be aligned to restart. And how we I think I heard a bit of what Ankush said, that that it's COVID is here. We don't know when it's going to really open up, where COVID, and that's what I started with, that the confidence needs to be built up. We need to be getting out to tell our travelers to travel, and that's how I started this whole thing. So I think the SOPs really need to be aligned. Like quarantine, yes, domestic travel can only open up if the quarantine rules and regulation in every states are the same. The visa regulations or the flights, when there are passengers coming in or we are traveling, there should be no quarantine. In any country. I feel, globally, we're all suffering through one viral, which is pandemic, and there is nothing different from UK, Europe, America, Canada, or us, that the pandemic is very different. So if I am safe in my country or unsafe in my country, I'm safe and unsafe in other countries too. So I might as well travel. I think that's what I should keep in mind. As long as I'm confident the country I'm traveling to or the state in domestic tourism I'm traveling to, it has the medical attention I would need if I fall sick. So if I'm sure, and secondly, of course, I need to be insured. So that if I go to a country, I need to use my insurance. So I think that that's something that has to be coming into existence. The insurance is absolutely a yes, that one should not travel without insurance at all. It could be domestic or it could be international. So, of course, everyone knows that we have to maintain social distancing, we have to maintain hygiene. And I think this is something that India is such a vast country. We have different sects of people living here, different, even challenged financially. But we've seen that one thing that's come up, and that's the good side of the country, that everyone is right now absolutely into hygiene and social distancing and sanitization. So that says a lot, and I think the countries have adapted it. Our country has adopted this change. So if we can adopt such a huge change, I'm sure we can adopt much more changes when it comes to travel. Another thing which I feel is, besides motivating each other and that we should be the brand ambassadors of our own country to talk about our country and say how safe it is, I think virtual reality is going to play a very big role. Technology is going to be playing a very big role. So if I want to visit, Brigade's hotel, I would like to see where I'm traveling. I would like to see it before I book my hotel, that is it safe? How are the people handling it there? Because I wouldn't know each and every hotel, without traveling. And I think that's something I would like to see on a virtual reality platform while I'm making a booking, to see that I'm safe and, everything is in place. One more thing which I keep telling the government, and I've been telling the government a lot, every second day I'm telling the government something, but re-emphasizing on that we really need to advertise. We need the right, whatever the rules and regulations of any country are, the restrictions are, should be put on a website. And I'm going to say that to our dear friend sitting here who's going to be opening Thailand very soon. And I'm saying that we should not be running around to get these, informations. I have to sometimes, to tell a traveler how he can go to any country, what are the rules, regulations, what are the visa requirements, which visas are opening. You have to really run pillar to post. So I think advertisement and marketing in that form is going to play a very, very big role. And I've also recommended to the government that they should invest in advertising in the dailies every day, so that the travelers also knows where he can and what are the quarantine rules, or what is the test that he has to carry. Because you say UAE has another test you need, America doesn't need a test, you have self-quarantine in UK, but you have quarantine in Hong Kong. So there are different SOPs in place. So we need a platform where we can understand this very, very much. So, and of course, something that's going to help us to move forward is collaboration with each other. I think the travel agents, the travel community, the hospitality, we need to collaborate. We need to share our resources, and I think that's the only way we will move forward, because it may be difficult for me to open my office because I have a huge fixed head cost. So I need to collaborate with someone to open up. So that will motivate me to work more, because I don't have my expenses same as what I had earlier, the pre-COVID. And like I said, of course, insurance. And another thing which I'm going to request all the hoteliers sitting here and the tourism bodies sitting here, I'm going to request you to tell all your countries, that please stay away from cancellations right now. Because the sentiments of a traveler is very low. And if he feels that he's going to make a booking and not be able to travel due to COVID-19, there should be no cancellation policies in place, and cash refund should be available. Because that's something which will give you a motivation to book for forward bookings and then travel also. Because you can hold on your booking till 48 hours before, 72 hours before, 96 hours before. You could have those SOPs again there in place. But he should be having that ease that, if something happens and I can't travel, I can cancel without any cancellation charge. Because we have seen globally that how we have suffered, the entire industry, especially on cancellations, refunds with the airlines and some hotels too. And, to get the money, which are still lying in credit shells. Credit shells is not going to make anyone richer, because cash is a huge challenge today. And I think cash is going to play a very, very big role in the future. And we need to see how we can prioritize it. And I would also, once again, I've been saying that to the government, and I'm going to say to as many NTOs and tourism boards that can get together to come on one platform to discuss, have a task force in place with the key players so that you can actually put the right perspective of marketing and things in the right perspective to actually promote and sustain and actually motivate a traveler to travel. I hope I was clear. I don't know. Thank you.
Yes.
Sure, sure. Thanks, Jyotiji. I think you have summed up very clearly, the crux of all the sessions which you have done. Yeah. So thanks for this valuable information. So now I'll move to Roden. Roden, what is your take on the restart? I'm not here for a while, so you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
I guess I'm the last but not the least. And I completely concur with all the panelists, what they had to say. And Taiwan is exactly following the same model. We are following a three-pronged approach: think ahead and do ahead. And think ahead and do ahead is what we have done is we've got 24 leaders in the tourism industry, got them together, shared ideas, thoughts, strategies, and trying to get everything implemented to boost tourism. Apart from that, in a timeline view, we've opened visas and travel for business travel to low and medium risk countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Australia, and New Zealand. All these countries are going to be reviewed on a two-weekly basis. Last month, we had the Dream Cruise, where we operated in the beautiful island of Taiwan, 3 night, 4 days. The domestic tourism has picked up. People who went on the cruise had a fantabulous time, and I got to see a lot of great reviews on social media as well. On the airline part, Eva had a flight cruise, where for 2.5 hours they took the flight between 20,000 feet to 25,000 feet and took them around the coastline. So people really got to enjoy the experience of flying, which many did not get to fly. So these are the initiatives Taiwan has been taking. The second part is combining physical and virtual events. Virtual events just like this, but domestically, we've been doing more than 50 events in the month of July. So we've also invited international market players to attend these kind of events. So it's going to be like something like a hybrid MICE event or a hybrid event where you combine virtual and the physical appearance as well. And thirdly, the last thing is holiday for healing. Taiwan is a small island. It's around 350 kilometers to the length, and it has got a lot of wide open spaces. So it's very good for leisure, for mice, families, and you can enjoy the outdoor spaces. This is the year for mountain tourism, where they have more than 368 peaks with the size, a length of 3,000 meters. So it's good for trekking as well. And next year, it's the year of bicycle tourism. So it's going to be a fun-filled activity for next year as well. We hope the borders will open soon, and we welcome all the travelers from India.
Sure. Thanks, Ruben. Everybody is wishing that
Thank you.
borders are open soon and people can, step out of their houses and be on the road to travel. All right, so I'll start with my next very relevant question, which is can be the guideline for travel industry. We could see people are shifting their jobs, their profiles, stepping into this business. On the one hand, we can see this as an opportunity that God has given them time to explore the plan B. So maybe they can work out that. But still, if we can have the recommendations, to get back in shape from their businesses, or the industry is just restricted to wait and watch. When situation is back to normal, then we can resume, or there is more to it. So I'll move to Kun Vachirachai to take some perspective from Thailand and get his valuable views. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you much. To answer this question, maybe I just refer to what Jyoti have said from the beginnings. I think this is very important for everyone in the industry. One is like you need to have a confidence. One, start with yourself, and second one, as part of this industry, you need to have a trust in our industry that surely we will get back stronger again. So this is why that we still working here and be here, with all of you in India. So this is what basic things that we're doing. Okay. Second things I know is very tough for everyone, including me. 5 months, like we have to bring up the motivation and inspiration. So again, this might have to be quoted what Uncle Chap said, that we need to, reskill ourselves and reboost ourselves. So within in the industry, I found in every challenge, I mean, that there is an opportunity, but this time we have to work much harder and be more patient. So that is what I'm thinking, and we need to be looking at the new way of working. I mean, maybe we need to come out from our comfort zone, the old way that we used to work. So this is what I would like to share with everyone, even for me. We have to adapt more. At the moment, there's no normal product presentation, brochures, or trade exhibition, but that's the way of doing it as well. So I would like to give my thought to and sharing with everyone here. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Very well said that we have to get out of our comfort zone. So now I'll move to Mr. Seth. So, what is your take, sir? What are your valuable comments which we can follow and argue with? I think you need to unmute your own.
Apologies. Sometimes when you sit back and think of C19, I compare it to a stage of animal under hibernation. Where for 3 months, 4 months, they go off to sleep. But when they come out much leaner, stronger, hungrier. And this is what the travel fraternity should be looking for the restart or the rebound, whatever you want to call it. Sometime back, I heard someone say, speaking on revenge tourism, I'll be happy if that happens. And people just move out to travel out of frustration. Maybe the stress that most of us are in, especially the men, having to work from home for office work and the home and the housework, trying to balance both with the kids running around, something which we have never experienced over years and years. I personally feel that this may result in people moving out of homes, wanting to travel, to break that mental stress, boredom, just to be out in the open. But just to break away from this cage life. So it is very important that we, during this hibernation period, which should be now under completion, to capitalize as the new months come in through. To restart, it is very important that we instill a confidence into the travelers, as we all have been repeating. And more than that, once there is a person who is traveling with any one of us in the travel, am I audible?
Now you are. Yeah, now you are.
So it is very important that once there is a family or travelers coming with any one of us in the travel industry, we should not try to go in for small financial benefits. This will overall impact the industry. It is better to work transparently with the suppliers, transparently with the customers, so that the entire trade benefits as we all hop on to the next step. Now, also the restart and the guidelines, I'm putting this together. Very important for that, and I'm speaking about very basics, which day-to-day requirement in the organization is for the team members, and this could be for anyone in any office. Easy way to do things are over. We have to look out for crisis and find solutions to that, because people will come to you only when they know that you can handle a crisis and you can give them some solutions. You have to marry the technology between the offline and the online to take maximum advantage. Going back to the ease of things, I feel the conventional sales, door-to-door sales, will need a complete revamping, replanning, because meeting with people will get restricted. The new sales would be communication over laptops as we are doing now, or over telephone lab. And business will need closure on the phones and maybe on the mails. We'll have to revamp our entire communication lines to be ready for the restart. The customer is going to judge you how well you know the product now, because you are not sitting in front of him. He will judge you by your voice, how confident you are, how well you know what you are speaking, and he would sign a deal with you across on the phone. People who understand this, the days of the sarji, chai pe milte hain, sham ko restaurant mein baithenge, these days are getting over now. It would be hardcore professional business, which the salespeople will have to adapt into. So one has to be ready with all these parameters if we need to restart. Very important is that we should avoid depending on a single line of business. Multitasking, multiple businesses will need to be strengthened. And very important, do what you can do as your core strength. I may not be able to do what maybe Ankush or Rajiv may be able to do, or vice versa. So there is no need to go and ape what is happening in the market with everything. Focus on the few strengths that you have and offer that to your customer with confidence. I think so that will be enough for the customers to be with you when the business restarts. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So I'll quickly move to Miss Birgit. I think she has another meeting. So I'll take a quick bite from Birgit for now on the restart. So over to you, Birgit, if you want to share something.
Thank you. Well, it was already said, the stepping out of we have to leave our comfort zone, right? So I think thinking outside the box will be important for individuals and companies. I think the willingness and the flexibility and the willingness and confidence to re-engineer yourself as an individual and as a company, yeah. So, and I think it's, the words agility and fluidity are very common words right now. And I think that's important. We all don't know yet what the future will bring. We never know what the future brings, but right now there's more uncertainty. So I think we have to just all come to a point as an individual and as a company, corporation, airline, hotel industry, or other corporation to be able to have that fluidity and the ability to move with what the time will bring. I think it's education is a big piece. It was said before, we have to all learn certain things now that maybe we didn't really have to know before. And I think it's great examples that we see in the industry already. If you look at corporations like Cvent, big technology firm, as you all know, but already they've implemented pretty much now all the platforms to be on the delivery of the big hybrid meetings. And there's other companies, not just the one. There's meeting planners that had to learn, well, how do I do that with hybrid meetings? Because that will probably be staying. So I think re-engineering yourself as a company, as an individual, through education, through opening your vision, your mind, and also really to reach across, to have that exchange, to really, exchange ideas. And I see a lot of that in a lot of the communications of the different organizations. A lot of the chat rooms, and there's a lot of outreach for help and How do you do it? Has anybody done that? Can you share a document for new standards? And so I think that openness is important in the future. And, just like I mentioned, corporations also as hotel companies, well, that's what we have to do. We have to be flexible. We have to be ready for whatever might be another crisis in the future. And so that's my thoughts to that.
Sure. Thanks a lot for sharing. So, in case you have a meeting, feel free to log out. I'll continue with the rest of panel. So,
thank you very much.
I'll take 10-15. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
So now it's time to move to Ankush. Ankush would like to hear from you the recommendation for the industry, how they are gonna get back in shape in business. So what would be the key points which they can consider or we can consider?
I think bring back your people who you were kind of put leave without pay. I think things are getting a little better, though slowly. I think don't shift to new businesses. I unfortunately see many of my travel colleagues getting into food business, etc., etc. But I always believe something. What is your core competency? Something you should continue with that. Just for a short-term pain, which is about 6 months. Don't digress your capital, your focus, your skill set into something which you probably end up losing more money, and not and also start suffering in your core competency. So hold your horses, and keep calm, keep your cost in control, and don't digress from what you are best at. I think that's something which I've been very cautious about. As a company, we are expanding into many new verticals, which we never did, because when you're on a bull run, you don't think about certain avenues in the travel business. But when you're obviously paused for the last 4 months, this is something which we are doing. We announced yesterday something in the marine business. You will hear many more things happening in the next couple of weeks. We have asked a little more than 200 people to join back work starting 1st September. Our salary brackets have come, the reduction which was there has been pulled back now to a decent extent just to create that motivation. Keep talking to the government. So I leave that to Jyotiji to do that, as the leader of the industry. So it's not something which I will keep away. And start looking at new revenue channels in your business. So if somebody is doing domestic, should start looking at outbound. If somebody is doing outbound, start looking at domestic. Somebody is doing adventure, then you should start doing something. So don't put your eggs in the same basket. I think that's where everybody has learned this year in the travel business, though. So that if something happens like this locally, we don't suffer. If let's say something happens in Europe tomorrow, at least Thailand and Dubai takes care of you. So something or the other you've got to do and mix match your portfolio rather than depending on something. Plus balance between, when I say is infrastructure. So if you have people in your company which are technologists, they can definitely work from home. It will save you a lot of rentals, infrastructure cost. People who are hands-on operations, marketing, sales should be back at work today. I think that's something will definitely help you to get your P&L much healthier. And the new learning, and what Mr. rightly said, no dinners, no lunches, I think that will save you cost, efficiency, heat, time, petrol, and your efficiency is far better by having a Zoom call, as we all have learned in the last 6 months. That's from my side.
Sure. Thanks, Ankush. So some pointers from Jyotiji. So what are your key suggestions?
I've heard so many opinions from everyone. So I think it's said all, and when we spoke about your earlier question also, we said it all. But I'll just like to reiterate one thing. I've always seen and I've always believed that once a travel agent is always a travel agent, and one who's in hospitality or hotel business just doesn't go there. Because I think more than this business about work, it's more like passion. I think we are more passionate about travel. Because travel is all about experiences, and travel is something which it's your freedom. It's something how you express your freedom. And when you express your freedom, no one can curtail it, because you are a free person, and that's why you travel. And that is, I think, will never go away. So yes, like Ankush said, we've seen a lot of people convert and utilize this time of where they were sitting at home into cloud kitchens, into catering, into medical. But yes, okay, there was opportunities that came across and they didn't want to sit at home. But I think they will not leave business as such. So I don't see so many of them leaving business. There could be people who retire out. I don't say there's anything wrong in that. If you've lived a good life and you want to retire at some stage in life, it's perfectly all right. And the youngsters should move in, and they should come in into a broader perspective of how to take this business forward, think out of the box. And like we hear this very often, that crises do bring opportunities, and we are not robots. We do need to touch, feel, and hug. So I'm very confident that travel will start. And it could be revenge, it could be mass, it could be anything, you name it. I mean, it's a name that we are going to be giving it. But yes, we'll need to look into our human resource management. We need to look into how we can skill and upskill and how we can really develop those skills. We need to reorganize. We need to restructure. We need to relook into all our contracts and maybe what all we had done wrong in the past. We need to actually change that for the future and see that we do better. And I think there are a lot of opportunities in this travel trade. Is how you can think out of the box, what is your capacity to work, and your motivation and your energy levels should be high to actually achieve that. And I don't think travel is going to go anywhere. It's going to come back, and it's going to come back double the force what it's gone by.
Sure. Thanks, Jyotiji, with these words. And I totally agree to it. And we also pray that travel is back on road soon. So moving on to Ruden. Ruden, over to you for your final remarks and a quick bite on this topic.
Personally, I feel. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Personally, I feel if you have a certain skill set, especially for the employees, and you're not getting paid, and if you feel that your hobby and your passion is going to get you somewhere, you can move into that field, and there's always room to come back. Okay. There are many of my friends who are without jobs at the moment, are not getting paid. So my wishes to them are there, and I really hope that when things come back to normal, they will come back to the travel field. This industry has been kind to me personally, and I really wish all of them all the very best. When it comes to Taiwan, I mean, the government has played a very active role in supporting various industries, and it has supported tourism also. So they've not only supported companies, but they've also supported the people, where reduction of rents, cutting down of EMIs, or even lowering the interest rates. So these are the things which the country has done for the people. And the people also over there are very humble and modest, and they've been very proactive and working towards the betterment of the country. So I really wish everyone all the best, and let's hope for a better future.
Sure. Thanks, Ruden. So with that, I'll come to the key message for the industry, which everybody wants to pass on. So open to all. I'll start with Mr. Seth first with his concluding remarks and the message for the industry.
So in addition to what we all have spoken and what they must have heard many a times on different panels, my request is remove fear from the mind. So the fear can be of no job, fear of no salary, fear of low salary. These are the facts, and these are the sad facts of today. But what happens is it just blocks the mind from thinking. It spreads negativity within oneself. It drains and taxes one's own body. Blocks all the line of thinking. Because as I say, or I feel that fear actually is false emotions appearing real. And if fear is false emotion appearing real, then let's get out of this emotion and all our energy into the positivity to bring in whatever little happiness we can bring for ourselves, for our team, for our people, and keep adding to this as we progress further. Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. Now, moving on to Kun Vachira Chai. What is your key message for the industry, sir, as a concluding remarks?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and thank you for all having me an opportunity to join this panelists. It's very inspirational, very constructive to learn a lot today. Well, I think everyone have said very good things already, and I have learned a lot. So maybe my key message would be that moving and be inspired. Okay, never lose hope. Okay, that would be my message.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. So moving on to Ankush, taking your key message for the industry in one or two lines. Yeah. Over to you.
The government is announcing unlock 4. You should be on unlock 6. Plan the Q4 of this year. Put your thinking cap, get your house in order. Life is moved on. And I don't think that one should leave behind before you lose the race for the next remaining 4 months. Very simple. Thank you.
Very simple, crisp, and up to mark. Thank you for that. Moving on to Ms. Mayal. Overall message for the industry from you.
Yes, I keep telling my members that tough times don't last, tough people do. So please continue to be tough. And everyone says, that we are back. I've heard this so often in this industry today that everyone says that we are back to where we started. The business is right zilch. We are right starting from ground zero. But I think that's it then. Yeah, you reach the rock bottom. Turn this into an opportunity to restart, rebuild on a strong foundation because you can restructure, collaborate, and reboot. Thank you, Sachin, for getting us here together.
Thank you. And last line from Ruden, last but not the least, from Taiwan.
Correct, as always. Okay, Taiwan has been investing in the India market for a long time, and we will continue to invest in the market. We do understand the situation in India, and it's going to take a little longer to recover. But our faith and support to the people of India and the travel trade will continue. We hope to continue to do our exhibitions, roadshows, FAMs, and let's all hope for a better start for 2020 and 2021. Thank you once again, Sachin, and all the panelists. It's a great learning from you all. Thanks
Sure,
once again.
thank you all for joining. So before we sign off, on the left-hand side, we have created a VIP section for you all. So there's a special dedicated room for all the speakers, VIP in your name, so you can enter in that room and enjoy your private meetings in case you wish to experience that. And thank you all for joining in for today. And I think we did a lot of suggestions. So I'm going to consume 4 to 5 pages in my magazine, including all these suggestions. So I'll share that with you by next week. Till then, take care, stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay safe, all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Pleasure speaking to you all.
Thank you.
And for all the visitors who are here, we have a booth section here where all our exhibitors are waiting to meet you. You can explore the booth section. And yes, it comes with a lucky draw. So on the last day, we shall do the lucky draw where 30 gift hampers would be waiting for you. For all the visitors, go and grab your meeting with the exhibitors. Till then, stay safe. This is Sachin Manocha reporting live from Traveler Manthan, and see you tomorrow. There are 2 more days left. Second day is dedicated to lifestyle, Ayurveda, yoga, and also an update from Thailand, directly from the Senior Vice President, TSEP. So stay tuned for more sessions tomorrow and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.